thank you for coming to our program.
Absolute pleasure.
Great.
Lovely to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like you to briefly introduce yourself for the sake of our viewers and also tell them what it is that you do.
My name is John Samaras. I'm a young Zambian entrepreneur. I was born in Mufulera.
Okay.
I actually went to school in South Africa, high school in South Africa, Stellenbosch University, and then came back to Zambia to start my professional journey.
How did you get into this particular field? But why did you choose to go the entrepreneurial way?
I don't think I had the marks to become a doctor. Number one. No, number two, I mean, I came back, I've got a Greek-originated family, and we had a Greek family business in Zambia.
Yeah.
And, I lost my father when I was very young. I was 16.
Okay.
And I came back to work in the family business and grew from there. We started in milling. We grew stock feeds, we grew wheat milling. I learned a lot. The first 10 years of my life was in the milling and agricultural industry. And it sets a big platform in how my future is shaped and how I've progressed. And I think one of the most beautiful things about business in Zambia is that you're exposed to so much very young and very quickly. You've got to understand the full business concept, not just parts of a business. And I think coming into the family business as such, I took over one of the milling companies in Ndola, and that's where I had to learn very fast. My uncle said to me, "It's on your shoulders, don't mess it up." And I didn't sleep for 10 years. Working 12 hours a day. We had 300 people at the mill, then we had 400 people, then we built new mills, built up 25 trucks, 70 shops. So you learn about the production side, you learn about the marketing, you learn about the accounts, you learn about logistics. It's an all-encompassing learning. And I think that set up my journey. It was the foundation. That hard work set up the foundation to where I am at the moment.
So through everything that you have experienced growing up and that you have been exposed to in Zambia, what is one thing you'd like to change about Zambia?
Policy and leadership. I think at the moment, one of our biggest frustrations is that issue. Zambia as a country has got full potential. We've got 8 countries neighboring Zambia, 320 million people market. When people look at the Zambian economy, 21 million people, it's a small market. But for me as a business and entrepreneur with vision, we should be exporting to all these markets. We should be creating products with the heartbeat of this region. We're right in the middle. We've got fertile lands. Anything you put in the ground grows. We've got water. We've got an energy crisis now, but with the right leadership, we put in different stopgaps to actually make that gap smaller, or import power, at the right price. We've got manufacturing capacity here. We've got a young 82% of our population is below the age of 35. They're learning. We need to create those jobs to actually condition the next generation with skill set to actually support the mining industry, because we're very big and we're very rich with mineral resources as well. I don't think 70% of our mineral capability has been tapped in Zambia at the moment. We're still looking at old mines like Mopani and KCM, and people are saying, well, let's get them working and feasible. The cost of production in those mines is not feasible. That's why we've got a problem with the private sector taking them over. We need to look at Northwestern Province. We need to look at, there's other assets in the Copperbelt Province that are more feasible than those older assets, Or we need to put the money in to improve the process to make it more feasible to produce 1 ton of copper, Whereas the old, bigger equipment, you've got technology that superseded that. So, we need to implement those things.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, policy determines direction in any country. And if we haven't got the right leadership supporting Zambian businessmen, we're never going to get to that potential. And being part of the next generation of businessmen, I went to our leaders a year and a half ago and I said, I can create 5,000 jobs in 6 months. Not because I'm a dreamer, it's because I've got the assets and the ability to do it. And as a Zambian businessman that's actually going through, you would anticipate support from our leaders to encourage that, because for every person that's employed in Zambia, 10 people are dependent. So
Yeah.
that's 50,000 people where you create an income and a disposable income for them to look after their families and actually spend money on the Zambian market. So, that's where the gap is. It's not about potential. The potential is here. I mean, we can unleash the potential very quickly as Zambian businessmen if we've got finance at the right rates and we've got the leadership that emphasizes the policy that we need to grow.
So, would you say, looking at the natural resources that we have, would you say Zambia is able to stand on its own without all this aid that comes in and out of the country?
We should be self-sufficient. We should be the richest nation in this region. I mean, we've got copper, cobalt, tin, tantalum, tungsten. We've got emeralds. We've got all the different the gemstones here, aquamarine. We've got amethyst. And that's just in the mining dynamic. And government has closed the Ministry of Mines licensing for 14 months. So none of us could get our licenses. And then when the licenses come, or the cadastre was opened, the licenses have disappeared. So how is any investor going to invest or support business in this region if they don't have that security and if that's happening to us as Zambian businessmen?
Yeah.
I've got 20 mining licenses after 7 years of exploration that have just disappeared. I mean, how is it that in this progress of every economy in this region and in the world that we're exposed to this? And it's one or two people that are upsetting the whole sector. I mean, mining itself, in line with the government's and the president's vision to get to 3 million tons of copper exported every year.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that dynamic. So he's come on TV and he said, okay, look, this is what we're going to do. The national plan is to get to 3 million tons. And then he closes the licensing department for 14 months. So our mining assets can't actually progress. Then the Zambian Environment Management, or ZEMA, has got restrictions in its ability to go and do environmental approvals on these dynamics because the licenses aren't there. Then after you've got the license, you need to do the exploration, find out where the copper is to make it feasible, and to do a mining plan. And then you've got to raise the finance and then implement it. The problem in Zambia at the moment is everyone's under the assumption that if you take a mining license, you're going to be the wealthiest man in Zambia. It doesn't work like that. It's a complete process. And, being involved with it for so long and learning all of the different lessons that I've learned, it's a long process and you've got to do it. And I mean, why wouldn't our leaders emphasize 7 years, 10 years of vision and development? And, the biggest hurdle that we've got with that is that you've got assets that are ripe and mature for development. And because of certain issues, personal influence in certain departments, that mature license is not going to be developed because someone's just taken it. I mean, it's a long process, but us as our leaders need to understand that we need the support so that doesn't happen, so that we can actually emphasize the economy and build it.
You said one very important point. Yeah, that stuck on my mind on how these small businesses highly contribute to the economy of this country. How do you think let's say we ourselves, or maybe the government as well, would best help these small businesses?
That's very simple. It's access to finance. Micro, small, medium enterprises are the backbone to every economy. We're all part of it. We've all got a business dynamic. In Zambia, we've got a whole generation of entrepreneurs. But if you don't support them or they haven't got access to finance, even if they've got the best idea in the world, how are they going to develop? Let's put it into perspective. I mean, if I wanted to start a new shop tomorrow and I needed to go get stock and buy, say, 100 bags of milli meal, if I went to any financial institution now and I asked them for a loan, they would be looking at 26% interest, on your loan before arrangement fees and organization fees. So and then you've got to put an asset up worth double that money. It's just so restrictive. If we want to get it right in Zambia, we need to make finance available for a low interest rate. It's as simple as that. It's a simple dynamic. Make the finance available. And the problem that we've got in Zambia, remember I talked about that economic cycle of business. It took me a long time to understand this. But governments are supposed to create that infrastructure for the SMEs, the micro, small, medium enterprise, and all business to add value, okay? And once that value is added, okay, you pay tax on that value, okay? And then that tax is the income for government. That's how the economic cycle of business works. It's so simple. And then the financial institutions are supposed to support the private sector and the public sector infrastructure, okay? So what's happened in Zambia is because there's no income being created with ZRA, all the loans are being swept up at 28% interest on treasury bills, okay? Which means all of the banks and everyone that is lending to government are making superficial profits, okay? And then the private sector's not got any money because there's a sovereign guarantee to them, and the private sector can't afford to lend at 28% on a devaluating kwacha. So that means no money is being received into ZRA. Okay, so the government can go to any financial institution, take all their money, but they've got no ability to pay it back because there's no money coming through the tax.
Okay.
Do you understand that dynamic? Do you know how powerful it is? And then what's happening in Zambia is that now government's going through ZNS and things like that, and they're trying to create a dynamic where they're competing with the private sector. I mean, the parastatals performance were all, the report was given on our business channel. All of them are in negative figures. I mean, it just shows you that it's not a dynamic that's going to be competitive or work. So why are we going back 10 steps every time we're trying to get forward? You know, it's a simple dynamic. Get finance at the right price to the people that have got the ability to grow. It's so simple. All the institutions are already structured. Why are there's so many policies, we're losing track of them? It's a simple dynamic that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And even personal loans. I mean, people paying 8 to 10% on personal loans, that shouldn't be allowed. You know, yes, there's opportunity to lend into the market, but on principle, it's a tough one because, you know, when a person's paying 8% per month, okay, or 10%, that's 120% of what he can afford. I mean, that's beyond his means, you know, and that's disappointing. Why are we there? I mean, people are wanting to work, people are wanting to build. Why wouldn't you give the next generation or anyone that wants to build the opportunity to build? I don't understand why the policy is not conducive to that. It's so easy. Allow the economy to work, pay taxes, then our politicians can look at the infrastructure. They don't have to look at business. I don't know why they're getting involved in business. I mean, they don't have to if they've got the income coming already. So, I mean, you know, with what we're doing at the moment, all I'd say is that, you know, allow from our top leadership, the policy needs to be put into play, which emphasizes our economy. We need to simplify everything. Everyone is wanting for the next solution. They're wanting this, and they want to put a policy to look after Zambian investment. Just allow the economy to grow. Just, you know, give it. We need to put water on that seed so that our economy can start growing.
Zambia is full of unexplored marvels, talented people, game-changing entrepreneurs, and breathtaking places that most people don't even know about. And that's where you come in. Do you know someone doing something incredible? Or a sport that deserves to be recognized? We want to hear from you.
Let's get to you now. You being the CEO of Sampay.
Yeah.
So I'd like you to talk more about it and also share the features of Sampay.
Well, look, I mean, you know, Sampay has been a journey. I mean, it was a vision 7-8 years ago. When the banks were taking money out of the private sector, I thought it was wrong because, you know, I understood the dynamic. I was president of the Chamber of Commerce afterwards, and I understood that there's a gap in our market, you know, where the banks were supporting private sector. They're taking the money out of our companies, which put a huge strain on us, and then put it into government bonds. So as an entrepreneur and a private sector, or a businessman, at the banks, I said, well, it's a problem, but as a businessman, I can understand why you've gone in that direction. It makes sense. So that was when I understood that there was need for a solution, okay, for the whole economy. And that's where I came up with with SamPay concept. And, SamPay, have had sleepless nights with SamPay in the sense that, your mind's wondering about different opportunity and different applications that you can use. And what I said is that I don't want to compete with all of the majors. What we want to do is facilitate every way one of our users can make payments and receive payments. So I want it to be an aggregator, like I want the banks to be able to load into our wallets and people to use the banks, the M&Os, and, just emphasize Zambian business on one platform. And then the next step was to build e-commerce platforms, okay, that would facilitate our business. So if you wanted to go online and create a shop, okay, selling wedding dresses, you can go online, create a shop in 5 minutes. You don't have to go and pay $3,500 for a web designer to do a whole page, So, it's taken me a long time, and we're in the process of rebuilding the whole application now, which is very exciting. By the time, when I started it, I had never been on another payment platform, and I refused to because it puts too much pressure on me, because I don't want to be the same as anything else. I want to create something to provide a solution that I see and that I would use and that I do use. And it's magic. It's lovely. And you know what? My vision is not to have it in Zambia only, okay? Is to export it into all of our different regions. Why aren't we, if we've got the vision, okay, and we've got I've developed SamPay 100% in Zambia with Zambian developers. If we've got the ability to take our IT, why can't we export our IT and make billions of dollars for the Zambian economy, taking it to Kenya, taking it to Congo, the whole region? We can do that. I mean, why not? And that's what my vision is going to be and is at the moment.
So is the app now able to accommodate, let's say, graphic designers? Or it's something you'd like to add along the way, like graphic designers, voiceover artists?
Yeah, look, I'll facilitate the payments to these artists and the graphic designers. I mean, I think in those two particular positions, I mean, that's personal. I mean, a graphics designer does work for you, so he'll have to have that interaction with you directly.
Oh, yeah.
But you can make payment to that graphic designer into his account immediately.
Okay.
And so you can make it from any account, actually. And I mean, also, it's just facilitates all the transactions between you guys.
Okay.
The e-commerce platforms, I don't include services yet.
Okay.
But at a later stage, we'll do services as well.
As a Zambian, why do you think someone should come to Zambia?
Well, as a Zambian, I mean, I've been here, I was born here, and I progressed. And as I went to school and university in South Africa, I came back for a reason that there's an attraction, there's a heart in Zambia. It's the Zambian people and the opportunity of our economy. So, as Zambia, I mean, if you look at it from a tourism perspective, you've got the Zambezi River, you've got Lake Tanganyika, you've got Kariba, you've got, the beautiful water bodies throughout the whole of Zambia. You've got the wildlife, the big five, the game. I mean, it's, whatever you want, we've got in Zambia. I think we're actually blessed in that way. And, for us as Zambians, and I think COVID showed us for the first time in a very long time, when we had to stay within our country, the actual resource that we've got and the beauty that we've got by traveling to different parts of Zambia, And I think we as Zambians, where people in the world have to travel 15 hours to get to to a certain water body or go fishing, we're doing it within an hour, 2 hours. From Lusaka, you've got Lower Zambezi 2 hours away. You've got Livingston 7 hours away, and one of the 7 wonders of the world in the Victoria Falls. I mean, that in itself is an attraction and is amazing. And then, talking from a business perspective, the opportunity in Zambia as a young economy, we spoke about 85% or 72% of 82% of our economy being younger than 35. Our next generation, through the right leadership, is going to explode in this region. The opportunity to manufacture, value add. There's a reason I'm still here, is because I believe in the ability of us as a nation and our ability to be the heart of this region and export. So there's opportunity in agriculture, mining, manufacture, tourism, everything we don't understand how blessed we are sometimes. And, if you're looking from an outside perspective, should I come to Zambia? You come to Zambia and you fall in love with this place and this beautiful country. The people are good. You feel safe here. The economic environment is okay at the moment, but it's attractive for external investors to come in because the dollar is very strong.
In conclusion, what word of advice would you like to give to entrepreneurs and those that would like to become entrepreneurs?
In Zambia in particular?
Yes, in Zambia.
I think the potential is huge in the future. I mean, if we get our policy right and our financial position right, there's going to be huge potential in growth. And I think, with the regional play in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be potential for someone who's got a concept or has the ability to have the edge on everyone else. So if you can start setting up that platform now, start building it and start going slowly, start making it profitable, add value, and then naturally it will grow with regards to the economy and our ability as Zambians. We've got a relatively small market, but you can take your concept here and grow it into the region. And we've got the ability because we're so close to all the neighboring countries as well. So if you've got a dynamic, and make sure it's original. Also with regards to Lion Zone and everything that I've done in building and investing in young entrepreneurs, you need an original concept. I mean, there's a lot of copy and paste, and everyone thinks, okay, well, they're going to copy and paste. They're going to convince us or convince me in Lion Zone that it's like a new dynamic. One was about art, and I'm going, well, in the rest of the world, there's so many. I can buy a template online to sell art, you know what I mean? And I've got the payment that I plug into it. So what value are you actually trying to create as an entrepreneur, So, it's got to be something feasible and something to make money. I think everyone's gap is that a concept's going to make money. A concept doesn't make money. I've got 28 beautiful concepts that I've already developed. Unless you take them to market and get people interested and add value to their lives, it doesn't mean anything. So, I think as a Zambian entrepreneur, make sure what you're doing has got value and is original. Or if it's not original, make sure it works in a dynamic to facilitate the business here.
All right. All right. Thank you very much for sparing some time to chat with us.
No problem. That's perfect. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Zambia is full of unexplored marvels, talented people, game-changing entrepreneurs, and breathtaking places that most people don't even know about. And that's where you come in. Do you know someone doing something incredible? Or a sport that deserves to be recognized? We want to hear from you.